And certainly check us out during and after WrestleMania 26 tonight. Now, some comments. Firesoul, he's debating about whether he's going to order the pay-per-view tonight. I know a lot of fans in the same boat.
Yep, it's quite expensive, even for UK people, as we know. So, yeah, a lot of people we know, everybody's going halves and going quarters and going fucking 16ths or whatever the fuck to get it over. But yeah, I think it's going to be worth it, especially if you're in HD, big time.
Now, on to our wrap-up of Ring of Honor. Charlotte, North Carolina. We talked about it in the introduction. April 3rd is the date. We're now going to go through the full Ring of Honor Big Bang card and let you know what some of the matches are. And as we mentioned a lot, it's just $15 to get that pay-per-view on Go Fight Live. Go Fight Live is a great site. Checked it out this week, and they do a lot of some of those niche events. Certainly a lot of MMA, a bit of boxing as well. And yeah, it's only $15 to pick up this pay-per-view we're going to discuss right now.
Yeah, and we're also actually going to look after our WrestleMania 26 predictions and give you a rundown of my opinion who's going to go over and your opinion of who's going to go over coming up. So that's something you definitely don't want to miss.
Yes, indeed. ROH Big Bang, and now for a full roundup of what's set to go on. We got a Lucha Estralas match with Cassandro El Exotico taking on Magno. Now, Cassandro, if you've never encountered this particular Mexican wrestler, is, well, how would you put it?
It's, I suppose, a modern-day Gorgeous George, but with a bit more of an edge. It's kind of like transvestite gimmick, pretty much. Would probably be the best way to describe it. But an absolutely amazing wrestler to watch, and very respected, even though some people will get a lot of heat for that kind of a gimmick, but very respected in Mexico, and very respected in the indie scene too. And you would have seen him on TNA briefly in the past. Jeez, it must have been a year, maybe 2 years, some in around that bracket sometime, maybe about a year and a half ago. And bringing that kind of a mix into Ring of Honor will make for some really interesting TV.
Yes, Cassandro was featured on a sort of documentary program here not long ago. That was the only time I had encountered that particular worker. But Cassandro, all new style. Mexican wrestling, of course, always a little bit different. But this particular performer, you're not going to have seen anything like Cassandro before, and certainly on that match alone, it could indeed be worth the $15. I mean, those Mexican high flyers, we just don't see enough of them on WWE and TNA.
Yeah, I'll bring a whole different buzz even to Ring of Honor, because it's not a real big. Well, I mean, there are some good high flyers and people who take risks, but real fast Mexican high flying and that lucha libre style isn't really too. What's the word I'm looking for? Prominent?
Too dramatic or fast?
It's just not around really much.
It's not in the limelight.
Yeah, it's not in the limelight, especially these days. You would have had the kind of the lightweights and stuff from WCW, and then you had that lightweight division in WWE. But since then, people wrestling like that, you just don't really see around. So yeah, that's going to be one worth paying $15 for, definitely.
Indeed, ROH doing what they can to get Mexican wrestling back where it should be. Back in the day, I know that Raw did a lot. They had those Mexican performers on there. Certainly the names escape me at this point in time. They also even had those mini Mexican wrestlers. Certainly was interesting to see that. It's different times nowadays on Raw, and very unlikely to see Mini Vader ever again.
No, I don't think Mini Vader is going to be around anytime soon. Yeah, I think that was XFL territory there for WWE, big time.
Yes, indeed. It is going to be interesting to know what more Ring of Honor can do for Mexican wrestling. I'd like to see more of it on HD Net personally, because I've been considering having a bit of a look at AAA and indeed CMLL. But again, it's hard enough to get ROH and FCW here in Ireland, which is where we are. Note the Lucky Charms as well. That's what we eat over here. But yeah, more Mexican wrestling. That's always going to be good. And indeed, there is more wrestling on the card with a Lucha Super Estrella match. It's Blue Demon Jr. and Misterioso versus Super Parka and Solar.
Now this is something you don't want to miss, folks. You can bring your Money in the Bank ladder match. You can bring your X Division. These guys are where it's at. Big Bang, April 3rd, $15. That's all you got to know.
Absolutely. I've been debating it and then I realised, why am I overthinking it? It's $15. Supporting new wrestlers, supporting a new federation, and supporting guys who really can work. And perhaps it's time now to do that in the wake of sports entertainment. Indeed, something I'm going to get on to now while I think about it, before I talk more about ROH. I was absolutely not shocked, but kind of a little bit disgusted this week when Vince McMahon came out in an interview. He was bashing TNA. Interesting to hear him mentioning TNA, but certainly he said this week, reaffirming the fact that his company is a sports entertainment, or indeed he just called it entertainment business, whereas he called TNA nothing more than, quote, pro wrestling. Now, this is what the guy says. WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment, yes, but wrestling, that word coming before entertainment, and how he can come out and say something like that, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I think Vince doesn't give two, that word about TNA. He knows he's made his money a long time ago, and he's... as he said, put his nail in America with being part of American culture, or some shit like that. I can't remember what he said, but yeah, I mean, he doesn't give a flying fuck, really, does he?
He doesn't seem to care, and certainly it was something that was certainly something I'd never thought I would see when Vince McMahon name-checking TNA, and Dixie Carter responded to that this week by saying she got called tawdry by the king of tawdry, and certainly Dixie now getting in a bit of a battle of words. I'd like to see a lot more of that. Maybe it's time that Vince got his own Facebook.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think TNA should quieten down. They talk too much. Bischoff, Dixie, all of them. You know, you don't have to respond to everything that comes out, because you're only digging a hole deeper and deeper.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of responding to everything that comes in, which is what we're pretty much going to do, we do have some good moderators on tonight. I want to say hello to Bruce Batman Wayne, who has got some good names for us. Thanks for viewing tonight and for helping us get those hits right on up. So keep it right here at Wrestle Dope. Continuing on with the Ring of Honor Big Bang card, the Grudge Tag Team match taking place on the night will be Kevin Steen with the ECW former veteran Steve Corino, and they're taking on El Generico and Colt Cabana. Certainly on HD Net, this particular match has had a huge build. Colt Cabana getting very involved with El Generico, trying to keep El Generico in check, whereas Kevin Steen and Steve Corino not one bit happy about that.
Not one bit happy at all. Kevin Steen, Mr. Wrestling, is a monster of a guy that is so athletic and so fast and so well paced. Great mat wrestler, great aerial wrestler. He's just got he is Mr. Wrestling, Kevin Steen, and I think only El Generico can put it up on this one. I wouldn't count on Colt too much, and certainly not Corino. So yeah, I think if Steen and Generico go at it and keep it rolling for the most part, it'll be a special match.
Yes, indeed. Steve Corino very much involved in Ring of Honor.